regular live entertainment and themed events, and offering 6 diamond pool tables and 3 dartboards, Shindig's is the place to be. Enjoy daily specials, including Tuesday wing night, Friday's Cajun chicken Alfredo, and Saturday's incredible crab leg dinner. And stick around for karaoke nights, live music, and so much more. Follow them on Facebook at Shindig's with a Z Bar and Grill. Shindig's, your hootenanny hotspot.
This is the story of a 7-year-old boy from Baltimore who nagged his parents incessantly for a pony until they moved to the mountain. There, over 40 years, I learned everything I could about the farmsteading lifestyle from great mentors.
Ooh, what a lucky man he was.
Oh, and by the way, I got my pony. I named him Captain.
On your mystery ship, on your way to a world that others might have missed.
Welcome once again to Farmsteader's Field Notes. Hey, I'm your host, Sean from the Mountain. Glad you decided to join me here on WMBS 590 AM, 101.1 FM, and Facebook Live. Also, www.WMBS590.com. And as always, if you have an agricultural event that's open to the public, please make a comment or get into contact with me, and I will do my very best to promote it. That's what we're here for, folks. Well, we've got a lot going on in the news today, so why don't we go ahead and get started with that. And the news, hats off to France, who made it mandatory for all new roofs on commercial buildings to be covered with plants or solar panels. This reduces urban heat and produces clean energy. Leave it to France to be the first to get that done. Also in the news, public comment open on USDA's moves. Public comments on USDA's proposed reorganization plan will be accepted through August 26th. USDA plans to consolidate operations, close its South building, and relocate approximately 2,600 Washington-based positions to the 5 regional hubs in Raleigh, North Carolina, Kansas City, Missouri, Indianapolis, Fort Collins, Colorado, and Salt Lake City. All stakeholders, including Capitol Hill offices, USDA employees, and members of the agricultural community, are encouraged to share their input during the open comment period, said Secretary Brooke Rollins. We value your perspective as we work to ensure that USDA is best positioned to serve America's farmers, ranchers, producers, and rural communities. Rollins announced the reorganization plan July 24th, and to submit feedback, email your comments to reorganization@usda.gov. Reorganization@usda.gov. Also in the news, Garrett County, and this is Garrett County, Maryland, Department of Business Development is now accepting applications for FY26 marketing grant programs designed to support small business growth and visibility in Garrett County. FY26 Agricultural Marketing Grant is available to farms, farm-related businesses, and agricultural organizations based in Garrett County. The maximum award is $1,000, and the required match is 10% of the total project cost. Eligible expenses include online marketing, farmers market displays such as tables, canopies, etc., advertising, signage, and more. Note, FY25 recipients are not eligible to apply for FY26, but may reapply for FY27. Important reminders for both programs. Grants are awarded first come, first served until funds are exhausted. All purchases must be made after written approval and within the program timeline. Proof of payment and purchase is required for reimbursement. Incomplete applications will not be considered, and to view complete program guidelines and access application materials, visit the following links. It's at business.garrettcountymaryland.gov incentives, and questions can be directed to the Garrett County Department of Business Development. Also in the news, Penn State Ag College embarking on new projects. Penn State College of Agricultural Sciences is launching a bevy of incentives to expand its relevance to the ag industry. I don't care what challenge comes down the pike, we will be here. We will find solutions for those challenges, and we'll do it in partnership with our stakeholders, with our farmers, and with the state and local governments, said Troy Ott, who has been dean of the college for a little over a year. Ott spoke during a town hall with Pennsylvania Ag Secretary Russell Redding at Ag Progress Days. Among those collaborations with government is the state's new Center for Plant Excellence, which Penn State houses. Like Pennsylvania's Centers for Dairy, Beef, Livestock, and Organic Excellence, the panel will provide the industry with research and support. The new center's board members represent the breadth of Pennsylvania specialty crop production, from fruit to nursery to hardwoods. Last fall, Penn State was named the North American hub for the World Food Forum Youth Food Lab, a United Nations initiative that studies food security and climate change. That project dovetails with the college's effort to support Pennsylvania's large food processing sector. In addition, Penn State is in the early stages of PlantWorks, an initiative to dramatically improve the university's plant research infrastructure from labs to research farms. Ott also hopes to have a strategic plan for that college completed during the fall semester. More direct use to farmers, Ott said Penn State will soon be launching an artificial intelligence-based decision support tool. It will answer questions by searching extensive educational materials, sparring people from sifting through multiple web pages. To increase research commercialization by expanding work with existing companies and spinning off new ones. Ott said discovering new knowledge is not enough, but taking an idea from the lab to practical applications is complicated. We need to have that sort of Silicon Valley mindset of entrepreneurship and innovation, he said. The Ag College is also looking to rejuvenate two long-standing associate degree programs housed at Commonwealth campuses that are slated for closure. The Wildlife Technology program, currently at Penn State Du Bois, and Forestry Agriculture at Mont Alto will be moved to other sites. Mont Alto has been doing forestry research for over a century, so the university will see if it can continue using the forestry resources there, but in new ways, Ott said. To avoid missing a season for recruiting students, Ott said that the college moved to reorient the programs as soon as the closure plan was announced. As part of the revamp, Penn State will work with industry to ensure the wildlife and forestry programs curricula meets the needs of the modern workforce. We are on the verge of being able to tell a complete story, but I can tell you these programs will not only be maintained, but they will be strengthened, Ott said. Redding, who is an ex officio trustee of Penn State, said something had to change with the Commonwealth campuses because of the declining enrollment, and he appreciated the opportunity for the college to rethink the programs. Also in the news, Pennsylvania conservation leaders have high hopes for a newly rebooted certification program. The State Departments of Agriculture and Environmental Protection announced the relaunch of the Pennsylvania Agriculture Conservation Stewardship Program Tuesday at Ag Progress Days. A pilot program started in 2019 failed to get off the ground in large part because it was disrupted by COVID-19. Eventually, public and private stakeholders came together again to continue working toward a rollout. The program certifies farms that go beyond basic environmental requirements. The bar must be set higher than just the baseline, adding that the conservation field keeps evolving. The bar will continue to set higher for the next generation of farmers. To be eligible, farms must be operated by the landowner and maintained all relevant and required farm plans. Where applicable, farms must also have buffers soils that meets established health criteria, prescribed grazing management, and or supplemental nutrition management. In designing the program, planners also aimed to make sure farmers have clear incentives for getting certified. Perks include being exempted from some environmental inspections, preferential ranking for certain state grants, access to farm signs and product labels for direct marketing, and placement on a public list of certified farms. We envision that certification in time will open markets for farmers. Ag Secretary Russell Redding said the time is right to relaunch the program and that many farmers in the state can benefit from being certified. Farmers live and work in very dynamic systems that take a lot of stewardship, he said. There are a lot of people out there that discern this credential. Redding said, getting to this point took years, even generations of work. We're now at the point where it all comes together. The program rewards those who do all the things that they need to do, plus some. Environmental Secretary Jessica Shirley applauded Pennsylvania farmers for their part in improving the Chesapeake Bay and said the program will help farmers' image with the public. I don't think people quite understand the connection between conservation practices and their drinking water, she said. Bill Fink of Country View Family Farms, the hog-producing division of Clemens Food Group, said the program has been a long time coming. We've seen environmental practices produce dividends, he said. We're building stronger, more resilient farms. Wolfgang said the program, relaunched, coincides with 80th anniversary of the State Conservation Commission formed in 1945 in response to the Dust Bowl. The National Agriculture Statistics Service and Natural Resources Conservation Service will survey farmers, ranchers, and agricultural landowners to gather in-depth information about their conservation practices. Local NASS representatives will visit farmers and agricultural landowners in August and September to determine if their operations and properties are eligible candidates for the survey. Information to NASS and analyzing NRCS is kept confidential. The agencies only publish data in aggregate form, ensuring that no individual respondent or operation can be identified. Also in the news, I told you there was a lot of news today. State seeks growth in the ag-related processing jobs. A key plot line in the story of Pennsylvania agriculture over the past decade is efficiency. That's the message of the Pennsylvania Agriculture Economic Analysis presented at the Lancaster Chamber Ag Issues Forum that happened August 8th. Agriculture's economic value in this state has grown at a rate faster than the workforce required to produce that value. Team Pennsylvania's policy director said, that's value for less human capital. The nonprofit works to enhance the state's economy through public-private partnerships. The analysis converged data from the 2012 to 2022 timeframe, and during that time, Team Pennsylvania found agriculture added 9,116 jobs. That 3% increase lagged behind the total state's economy of 8% increase. The job numbers improved in the food and alcohol processing and animal production sectors, but those gains were offset by employment declines in crop production and forestry processing, logging, and millwork. Crop production lost 10,845 jobs during the decade, while forestry processing lost 2,445. Food and beverage manufacturing and forest product manufacturing, furniture, prefabricated buildings, paper, so on and so forth, saw gains, adding 6,850 and 2,358 jobs, respectively. Alcohol processing and manufacturing grew at a 245% rate, adding 5,782 jobs. Even if some ag sectors didn't add jobs, their contribution to the value of goods and services grew. Agriculture's gross state product climbed 39% to contributing $11.8 billion to the economy. Ag manufacturing grew 12%, contributing $15.7 billion. Manufacturing includes food and beverage and forestry. The increases speak to agriculture's resiliency, even if it's fragmented across sectors. That diversity provides a stability as compared to some of the volatility that some of the other states may experience. Pennsylvania compares favorably with New York and Virginia in both jobs created and gross state product, but Ohio leads these states in both metrics. They have continuous land tracts that are much bigger. Pennsylvania does have higher sales per acre than the other three states at 1,457 per acre, despite its smaller farm average of 144 acres. The 10-year analysis is a starting point, not a final determination of growth or decline causes. Lancaster County stood out in the analysis. Ray Ann Miller, an analyst at EDC Lancaster County, said the county's average farm is 81 acres, but produces over 3 times as much as Pennsylvania's average farm. That means very, very good as is, and they're good at it. Lancaster also compares favorably to the rest of the state in its future farmers. The county boasts 11% more farmers under the age of 35 and 15 more under the age of 65 than Pennsylvania's average. And to read more about that, you can visit the Commonwealth's Ag Economic Analysis at visitteampa.com. Okay, so we've also had some interesting news pertaining to our auctions, and because some of that's been up in the air lately, unfortunately, with the loss of the Friends Stockyard. Somebody had asked last week, and I appreciate the questions every time that they ask questions about when that would possibly open up again. So let's have a little bit of...
The best of all the auctioneers. $45 bidder, $50, will they give me 50, make it 50, bidder on a $50, will they give me 50, hooter, bid a $50 bill. $50 bidder now, 55, will they give me 55, make it a $55, bill, 55, I sold that home for a $50 bill. Hey, well, all right, sir, open again.
I just love that. Anyway, in addition to Grantsville's normal sale that they have Saturdays at 1 o'clock. Again, because of the fire that happened at Friends Auction, they moved that sale on Mondays to the Grantsville stock sale location. And to answer the questions about how long it's going to take for them to rebuild Friends, I was there the other day, 2 days ago, and apparently the entire internal part of the infrastructure of that building is being redone, and they're redoing the stands, and it's going to be a process that's going to take a while. So if you're hearing a lot of news and stuff about how quickly it's going to be done, kind of ignore it, because it looks like it's going to be a while for that to happen. However, Grantsville has seen, again, an uptick in its small auctions for small animals. Every one that they've done has been very, very successful. So they're planning to do another one on September 5th at 5:30. So if you have your small animals for that, you can certainly attend that auction. Also, some news: Waynesburg, the PA livestock auction there at Waynesburg, they announced the feeder cattle sales in addition to their normal stock sale. So it'll be Thursday, September 4th will be the first one of the feeder cattle sales. Thursday, September 18th, they'll have one. Thursday, October 2nd, October 16th, November 13th, and then their final one will be their cleanup on Thursday, December 4th. That'll be all their feeder cattle sales. So you can pay attention to those. Waynesburg has really good feeder cattle sales. So if you're in the market to purchase or you're in the market to sell, that's where we're going. We're going to go there. What else should we talk about? Well, you know what? We always do it. Let's go ahead and do it now. How about...
I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, rams, hogs, dogs, chicken, turkeys, rabbits, you name it! Look! I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, rams, hogs, dogs, beans, greens, potatoes.
Love that one too. Anyway, I always try to mention our farmers markets, and again, we're kind of ticking down, so let's make sure that we get out there, get all the fresh fruits and vegetables we possibly can while they last. I'm telling you, I'm loving my Chambersburg peaches right now. I'm loving the sweet corn. So do your best to get out there, support our local farmers. In Uniontown, they're having one every Saturday in Bailey Park, 9 to 12 o'clock, running now till September 27th. Bedford, PA, every Saturday, the Lambertville Methodist Church, now through October, 9 to 1 p.m. Frostburg, Maryland, they have theirs in Frostburg City Place, now through October, 9:30 to 1 o'clock. Connellsville Farmers Market, theirs is Thursdays, the East Side Fire Station from 5 to 8 p.m. That's at 100 North Arch Street. Confluence Farmers Market, the Town Square, they have theirs sporadically. Their last one will be August 30th from 8 o'clock to 12 p.m. The Mountain Fresh Market, Oakland, Maryland, now through October 31st. They run Wednesdays and Saturdays, South 1st Street, Town Park Lane, 10 to 1 p.m. SoCo, the Somerset County Farmers Market, 243 West Main Street. They're on Saturdays. Their next one will be October 11th, 9 to 1 p.m. Oh, I'm sorry, it runs now through October, not just October 11th, now through October 11th, 9 to 1 p.m. Keystone State Park Farmers Market every Sunday now till September 28th from 10 to 2 p.m. That's 1150 Keystone Park Road, Derry, Pennsylvania, in the beach parking lot. Linear Country Market every Saturday running now till September 27th, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., plus other random days, so check their website, corner of Springer Road and Main Street. The Deep Creek Farmers Market in the Garrett College parking lot every Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. until October 4th. Davis Farmers and Artisan Market every Friday from 5 to 8 p.m., Davis, West Virginia, running now through September. Barber County Fairgrounds, Barber County, West Virginia, their farmers market every Friday from 4 to 7 p.m., now till October. Cheat Lake Farmers Market, Cheat Lake, West Virginia, every Monday from now till mid-October, 4 to 7 p.m. in the parking lot of Chestnut Ridge Church, 2223 Cheat Road. Waynesburg, PA, every Wednesday, 10 to 1 p.m., till October, next to the courthouse. Lower Burrell Farmers Market, the Bon Air School parking lot, 9 to 12:30 p.m. every Saturday, now till October 4th. Mountain Areas Farmers Market, Farmington Fire Hall, 4 to 8 p.m. Their next one will be August 22nd. Rockwood, the new Centerville Farmers Market, located at the Holy Hayloft. They're Thursdays from 3 to 6 p.m. Morgantown, West Virginia. They have two locations, downtown from 8:30 till 12 p.m. Large Pavilion. They also have one at Milan Park, 270 Milan Park Lane, Wednesdays, starting 4 to 7 p.m. Cumberland, Maryland, at the Canal Place. Theirs are on Thursdays, and they are from 9:30 to 1 p.m. Uniontown, PA, Poultry Association has their buy, sell, and trade. Theirs came back on August 17th, and the next one will be on September 21st. Again, with all these poultry swaps, you want to make sure that you show up early because stuff tends to sell quick. So if you can get there the closest you can to 7 a.m., the better off you're going to be. Indian Head, they're having their swap. The next one will be August 24th, 7 to 11 a.m. Okay. And we are almost out of...
Well, there's a full moon in the western sky, and there's magic in the air. Ain't nothing I know of can make you fall in love like a night at the county fair.
And like I said, we're winding down. Right now, we're in the midst of the Westmoreland County Fair, which is going on now to the 23rd, and the Somerset County Fair until the 23rd. Both of those are going on. If you haven't visited them yet, they're both great fairs. I've been to both so far this week, and they're doing great. Tucker County Fair in Parsons, West Virginia is also going on, and they're going to run also till the 23rd. And the Monongalia County Fair, Westover, West Virginia. That's going on now until the 23rd. So all kinds of stuff happening. The Barber County Fair just got started. It will last until the 30th. That's in Philippi, West Virginia. Again, any chance to go to any of these fairs and support your local 4-H, they would certainly appreciate it, and they're hardworking kids. The next thing that's going to come up here and relatively close will be September 5th and 6th, Nicholas County Potato Festival in Somersville, West Virginia. September 10th through the 13th in Somerset County will be the Berlin Brothers Valley Community Fair. That's another community fair, but it's a really good one, and it always seems to impress me. I really, really like that one. September 12th through the 20th, of course, the Great Frederick Fair in Frederick, Maryland. That's a very big fair. That's one I always used to attend to show goats, and I've always enjoyed it. September 25th through the 28th, the Preston County Buckwheat Festival. I saw that they just crowned King Buckwheat and Queen Cirrus for that, so that's always an exciting one. Again, I'm a farm fat kid, so whenever I go to fairs, I always know exactly what I'm going for. It's not hard at the Buckwheat Festival. I'm going for buckwheat cakes because I never get them all year. So Preston County Buckwheat Festival, the 25th through the 28th. September 27th through October 5th is the Mountain State Forest Festival in Elkins, West Virginia. That's one that keeps growing. October 2nd through the 4th is the Salem Apple Butter Festival in Salem, West Virginia. Also wanted to mention, and again, as more of these crop up, and if anybody hears about them, please let me know, a farm crawl will be happening at Tucker County, West Virginia, August 30th. You can check with the Tucker County, West Virginia extension for more information about that. But again, it's one of those things that always irks me. I never hear about the farm crawls until it's entirely too late, and then it's, sort of passing us by. Today, we didn't have a guest, so I wanted to kind of address a couple things, some questions that were posed on the webpage, or people that asked me to talk about, and I kind of write them down, and I try to remember them and talk about them later on. And I know these are topics that are kind of important to people, and I always wanted to, if I possibly can, take the time to address them a little bit. At one point, we were talking on the show in depth about some issues that we were having with people trying to take pesticides to a new level and trying to do way too much in terms of spraying and hurting a lot of our pollinators out there. And so some of the things that I had suggested that we switch to more on an organic level, some people have had some really good success with. And so one of the questions that I got asked about after that was about diatomaceous earth, and what is diatomaceous earth and what is its application in preventing pests from getting onto plants and so on and so forth. So just to kind of touch on it a little bit, diatomaceous earth is the fossilized remains of ancient things called diatoms, which are really just more or less microalgae. That's pretty much what they are. So because it becomes fossilized, it becomes harder to find, but we usually find that and it's usually farmed or extracted from dry, long-term waterbeds, dry beds that were hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years old. Some of that can come and go. It doesn't have to consistently be a constant pool of water that collected, but if at one point this was a body of water, you can collect these diatomaceous earth from that, and it looks more or less like agricultural lime. It's got a white powdery look to it, and in most forms you can buy it in other food grade forms and things like that, but it's in the agricultural form, it kind of looks like agricultural lime, and it's used in a similar way in that you would spread it around the base of your plants. I would suggest only doing the bases around your plants, because if you actually sort of try to dust your plants with it, again, we're harming the beneficial insects, and we're not keeping away the negative pests. And how it actually works is because that micro algae, little pieces of actual rock become kind of like, it's like a hard shell to it. And it's so small, it's so fine, but what it does is it breaks down the exoskeletons on those pests. Hard to believe, but it does actually work in that way. And it doesn't get them all as good as, perhaps some sort of a terrible toxic spray that would also be harmful to you, but it does work to a varying degree, and it does work kind of well. And I can tell you, by spreading it across there, you're going to see a big difference in not just things that basically cause a lot of garden issues like slugs and snails, but also like aphids, cabbage maggots, things like that are going to be deterred and kept away from it or killed. So it's very good to apply on the ground, on top of your mulches and things around your plants in that degree. Also, I will tell you that it's one of my favorite additives, and I know that it does work topically as an insecticide and a pesticide for certain types of livestock. In particular, my ducks and my chickens, I like to make it an additive as part of their dust bath. And a dust bath, basically, for those that don't know, is simply a place where, because chickens obviously don't have arms to clean themselves off with, and they really, really tend to hate water and being soaked in water, to keep themselves meticulous and clean, they tend to roll. And I'm sure you've probably even seen it on the internet if you don't even own chickens. You can see chickens dust bathing and fluffing up their feathers and really having a good time in it. And so it's better than just sort of putting them in your bedding and allowing them to do it, because to a certain degree they can be in bedding and it can work that way, but it doesn't do the best job of killing off those mites, the scaly leg mites and things that get onto chickens and get into ducks, the lice, and they just have a terrible habit of picking up some of this stuff, and they can't help it. The red mites in particular at nighttime are really vicious and blood-sucking and can really wear a chicken down, can cut the production way down. And in addition to that, I mean, that'll literally make them anemic. So we have to do our best to fight that off. And if we can do it in a more organic method with the diatomaceous earth, we do that. So I add it to a dust bath of approximately 50% of that, maybe 50% play sand or something that I know that's going to attract those chickens and ducks to go roll around in and have some fun in. So I'll basically set up like a kiddie pool of just that, or a box of some kind, and they always seem to find it. So it's a wonderful thing for that. So I do recommend it for that person that was asking me that. I do recommend diatomaceous earth. In the farm application of it, I have a tendency to say, give it some time. You can wet it. It kind of cuts down on the efficacy of it a bit if you wet it, but I would try to apply it when there's going to be a long stretch of dry days, not like the summer that we've had that's been pouring down rain and nasty and horrible. So if you were going to have like this last week where we had a nice stretch, it's wonderful to apply it. Also, a topic of interest was, excuse me, somebody had asked me, and to me it was kind of funny, because what they were asking about was the guidelines for the USDA organic program. But the reason why they were asking about it wasn't because they thought they wanted to get involved with being or considered an organic farm or none, but they wanted to find out whether or not they were being cheated, because you go to the local supermarket nowadays and you have a bazillion options of things to purchase, and it's from organic to no harm, to humanely raised, to this, to that, to this, to local, to Pennsylvania local, to whatever it says. I mean, it could be any number of different things. But being organic, some people were thinking that maybe that was just a marketing ploy, that maybe they were just saying that because, how inorganic can a cow be? It's literally out there grazing on grass and we bring it in. Okay, But let's think about that for a second. Cattle aren't always raised the same way. We do have some that are just grazed strictly. That's all that they do is organic pasture. That's all they are. They're finished on pasture. It's a different flavor. It's a different taste than one that's been raised in a feedlot, that's been given grain that could have possibly been GMO factored into the feed. It could have been raised with heavy pesticide. It could have been raised with this, that, and the other thing. And that's very true too. We know that the bulk of beef, what you buy that doesn't have any labeling like that, is probably foreign. So any number of different things that could have possibly gone into that meat, we wouldn't even know in this country. So it's, trying to weigh whether or not we trust the labeling on the everything that we buy in the superstores and whatnot. To me, I understand it, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the things that are required for being labeled as organic. But again, if you have concerns regarding this, it's best to buy local. It's best to go up and talk to that farmer that you know and ask them honestly what they're doing. And believe me when I tell you, they're going to be 100% honest with you. Now, as I go through some of the stipulations, it's important to tell you that I'm not preaching to you as coming from a person that does organic farming specifically. I do my best to stay within the guidelines of being organic without being organic, because in the case of when animals get sick, I need to treat with antibiotics. So organic would be antibiotic free. I do my best not to go that route, but if there's an animal that's in distress or something, I'm going to it. We're going to medicate it. Am I going to add maybe that milk into the food supply? Am I going to drink from it? No, I'm going to use the withdrawal dates that are specified on every medication that I've ever given. And if I can possibly go without using that milk or that meat or what have you, I'm going to do that. But if it's not possible to do that, if I have to use it, then I'm going to follow the stipulations, which is usually, let's say I'm giving a shot of penicillin to a goat that's, got some issues, a severe runny nose, coughing, sick. If I give it some penicillin, usually it's a 90-day withdrawal. Okay. And again, if I have the opportunity and if I like this time of year, I got plenty of milk, I don't need to use that goat's milk, I'm not going to put it back into that. Maybe I'll use it in a different source. Maybe I'll use it to make soap or something else like that. But for that reason, I have never gone organic myself, and the odds of me ever doing that are probably nil. But anyway, the USDA require adherence to specific standards for land, livestock, and crop management. These guidelines ensure that products labeled certified organic meet strict requirements for production methods, prohibiting synthetic pesticides, fertilizers, and other prohibited substances. To achieve certification, farms must develop an organic system plan, an OSP, and undergo on-site inspections. So, some of the key aspects for that. Under land management, so cropland must be managed organically for at least 36 consecutive months before certification. Okay, and again, sometimes that's extremely hard for some of the heavier pest-laden areas that we have to go that long. Livestock management. Livestock must be managed organically from the last third of gestation for mammals or the second day of life for poultry. They must have year-round access to the outdoors, be fed 100% certified organic feed, and be managed without antibiotics or growth hormones. Okay, so again, that's why I won't ever qualify, because if I have a sick animal on the property, it's going to be treated for it. But again, that's where the expense comes in. Whenever we're talking about the expense of whenever you see certified organic and the price tag is a lot higher, this is why. Because without treating with antibiotics, without potentially saving some lives of your livestock, you are going to obviously have much heavier losses that way. And you're going to see, and again, not using growth hormones in any way, shape, or form, you're going to have that livestock in a longer time frame. So instead of raising this livestock for let's say in terms of beef, instead of raising it for 14 months, you have to hold it for 18 months or what have you. Okay. With lambs in the spring, if we're not doing anything to bring more growth more rapidly, and we're just relying on grazing and things like that, it may be a slower time before we can get them there. So again, they're consuming more of what we have, so it's costing us more. So for those reasons, there's going to be a higher price tag on it. Organic feed, obviously organic, people that are raising organic crops are going to sell their organic crops for higher amounts. So obviously, here again, I'm going to have to buy more. I'm going to have to buy higher hour grain to feed that livestock over the longer period of time. So for those reasons, the price tag is going to go up. Crop management specific regulations govern the use of inputs, requiring them to be either non-synthetic or included on the national list of synthetic substances permitted. Phew. Certification process. Farmers must develop the OSP, submit it to a USDA accredited certified agent, and undergo on-site inspections to verify compliance with organic standards. That's a lot. And that's a lot to have always being kind of hanging over your head, somebody that's going to be walking on your property and constantly inspecting you. Okay. And again, the labeling is going to change. That's going to be an additional expense for you. When you go to process and sell your product, specific guidelines govern how organic and made with organic claims can be used on product labels. And I can promise you that if you do that wrong, you will be fined extensively, and you will be held to the fire on that one. So be sure to maintain the proper labeling if you are going to all of this trouble. So the organizations that are involved in the organization certification, specifically here in Pennsylvania, are the Pennsylvania Certified Organic, a USDA accredited certifying agent that provides certification services and guidance on organic standards. The Penn State Extension obviously offers resources and educational programs for organic farmers, including an organic crop production guide. The Rodal Institute provides organic farm consulting and transition courses, and the USDA Sustainable Agricultural Research and Education offers resources and guidance on organic transition as well. So the transition period requires careful planning and adherence to organic practices before certification is granted. Record keeping is crucial throughout the transition period and while maintaining organic status. I'm Mr. Record Keeper, right? Farmsteader's Field Notes. Gradual transitioning strategies can help lessen the financial impact on an overall full transition. So it's important to remember that if you're going to do this, perhaps you can do it in a slower, then all of a sudden, boom, we're going right into organic. But it's extremely hard. It's extremely difficult. If you're seeing the organic labeling, I would rest assured that, especially if it says PA organic, that they are adhering to those practices because, like I said, they're going to be unbearably fined if they're not following those. So those were just a couple of the things that people had talked to me about that they wanted a little bit more clarification on. Again, if you have a topic that you want me to discuss here on the show, please let me know. Drop me a line, leave me a message, what have you, and I'll do my best to cover it and talk about it a little bit. Again, not much happening on the farm this time. We're kind of ticking down from the fairs, and we're transitioning into already the breeding season. So a lot of our livestock are getting prepped for that, being fed as much nutrition as they possibly can stand, being fed their supplements. If they need additional immunizations and things taken care of, now's the time to do it. I did mention last time about some of the ethics that go into animals and livestock and things. And I kind of forgot to mention that whenever we do those things, we do the practices of disbudding and dehorning, and we do vaccinate. We do vaccinate against tetanus and other things. And I do believe in the use, strongly believe in the use of vaccinations. I'm a kid that grew up without polio and without smallpox and things, so vaccinations do work. They absolutely do. So just something to try and put into your ear. Again, next week, join us. We're going to have a special guest with us from the Master Gardeners, and so we'll be talking with her. And as always, I appreciate you tuning in and listening. Try to have a good week this week. It's going to be lovely, I think. And don't forget, we're all just future compost, so try to have fun out there, folks. Thanks for joining me. Stay tuned for CBS News at this hour.
You're listening to WMBS Uniontown. Now, ladies and gentlemen,